We're going to look at the problem of fixing a problem in this game where the platform doesn't support the player. So the player can jump, the wall stops the player lands on the wall nicely. If I try and land on the platform, it just doesn't work. There is interactions with the platform. If I jump and hit the platform, I can make the platform reverse its direction. So as I'm hitting that platform, I'm knocking it back the other way. So we're going to look at how that works in terms of code. So if we look on object character, there's no collision with platform. If we look at object platform, there's a create event. So when the platform appears, horizontal speed is set equal to 1. That means it's moving to the right. The platform starts moving to the right. A step event means every 1/30th of a second this code is executed. So constantly this code is executed. If place free, Yo-Yo Games wiki site, if you just Google, if we Google GML place free, Yo-Yo Games wiki, you'll see place free returns whether the instance placed XY is collision free. In other words, there's nothing near it. Is the space free? This is typically used before a check before moving into a place. So this is saying, is the space free? Now, at the X position of where the platform is, but X and a little bit more, H speed is equal to 1, so just to the right of the platform. So as the platform's moving, is there space to the right of it free? If this is true, the X value of the platform is set equal to, is assigned, whatever it currently is, the value of X currently, plus horizontal speed. In other words, X is going up by 1 constantly because it's a step event. That's basically meaning move the platform to the right gradually, steadily moving X up by 1 as long as there's some free space to the right of the platform. Else, so if this is false, if there's no space free to the platform, now in the room, that you can see will be here. When the platform gets to this point and it hits this wall, there's no space free to the right. So we need to see what happens with the code. What does the code make the platform do? If there's no space free, horizontal speed is set equal to minus horizontal speed. So you set it to a minus value, that makes it move to the left, so it just alternates back to the left. So nice and logical, an annotation there to explain it. Also, if the platform, we're still looking at object platform code, if the platform meets place meeting, we can look up what place meeting means. Place meeting returns whether the instance placed at X and Y meets the object there. So this is going to return true or false. So the true and false means it's Boolean and can be used within the if statement. So there's my Boolean expression. So this whole thing is either true or false. And this is basically asking the question, is the platform colliding with the object character? Again, just ahead of where the platform is. So this was the code that made the player able to turn the platform around because it achieves the same thing. Now, to make the player land on the platform, all we need to do with object platform, we have to be in advanced mode. So if you select advanced mode, you get an option to look at the parent. The parent object we need to choose is the wall, which this example is called object visible. should really be called object. Well, object visible is not a particularly good name. But now I've set that parent object. What that means is the platform will inherit the properties of the parent, and in addition will have these events and actions. So let's have a look at object visible. How does the wall work? Because we know when we play the game, when the player lands on the wall, it stops. Now I've set the platform to be a parent, a child object of the parent, a child object of the wall. It should have the same property. In other words, if I land on the platform, if I can get on top of the platform, let's try again. There, I'm on the platform. I'm having to move to stay on the platform, but I'm on the platform. So I've fixed the problem. And how does that work? What's the logic? Let's look at object visible. No events and actions on the object. But if we look at object character, there's collision with object visible. So object visible, when it collides with the character, when the wall collides with the character, what happens? This happens. If the vertical speed of the character is greater than 0, vertical speed greater than 0 means the object's falling downwards. So if I'm falling downwards and there's basically, now what does this mean? Exclamation mark means not, so it inverts this. We have to think about what this means. Is there space free at the position of object character, at the X position of where the object character is, but is there space free just ahead of object character in the Y-axis, in the Y plus vertical speed? So if whatever vertical speed is, if it's a positive number, it will be just below it. Now, it's not asking if there's space free, it's testing if there's not space free. In other words, have you landed on something solid? If you're falling and you're just landing on something, there's no free space before underneath you, you're just about to land on a surface, you move to contact solid. This forces you down. If we look, let me load up the web page. Let's look at the move contact. Move contact solid. Moves the instance in the direction. Now the direction was 270 degrees. 270 is standard, meaning downwards. Moves the instance downwards until a contact position with a solid object is reached. So it forces the player down. After it's done that, it just sets the vertical speed to 0. That's the crucial line of code. That means the player's not going to move. So it sits on top of the platform.